From the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
What's going on? What's going on? We are live. We are live, man, for a late night edition of the 50 and 50 show, man. As you can see, man, on the screen, man, my name's PharoahNFL. My guy, the Severe Raider, is in the building. Appreciate everybody coming through. We know it's late, but we got to get it in, man. We gotta keep coming with this content, you know. The Raiders, it's 365 days out the year, and it's literally, Raiders is pretty much all day, every day, man. They're gonna always have something to talk about. Especially recently, the NFL owners meeting took place, and AP was able to talk to the media. Tom Telesco was able to talk recently with the Raiders media. So we kind of got a little bit of idea of where their minds were at, especially with free agency and the draft, QB. You know how it is, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. We know it's late, but we want to talk football, man. We can't miss a day, man. We can't miss a day. We cannot miss a day. So
technically,
that's why we really want.
It's hella early.
It is early Tuesday.
Technically, hella early.
But if you still up, then it's Monday. You know what I mean? So however way you want to look at it, we here to talk Raider football, man. Hey, look, we got some people in the chat. I mean, they up, man. We appreciate it.
For sure.
My guy, Yaya Hatamaki in the building. He says, salute Severe, salute Pharaoh. Man, I appreciate it coming through, man. You know what? I'm gonna give you, man, a horn for that, man. I got you, man. Appreciate you coming through. My guy, Problem TV in the building, man. In the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. For my day ones, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Oh, we got Ray Love in the building, man. Hey, look, they pulling up slowly but sure. They're like, what? But you know what? Hey, you know what? It's like I said, this is the late night. It's Tuesday. I get it. Castro, I get you. Ray Love, appreciate you coming through. I get it. I get it. But you know, hey, look, man, I'm trying to be positive here, man. We made it work. We're here to talk football. And my guy, D Menace, man, he starts it off right, man.
No,
Raiders. I'm gonna give you one better. Better. And you know what? I'm gonna give you one better right here. And that's the guy we actually are going to be talking to. I appreciate the support, D Menace. That is the guy that we're going to be talking about today. Antonio Pierce sat down with the media, not just Raiders media, but the beat writers, everybody that's in media that he was talking to, man. So look, we got Cool Kev pulling up, man. Hey, appreciate you coming through. So look, man, why don't we just not waste any time, man? We know
GM Walt in the building. What's up, GM Walt?
GM Walt is in the building. My guy Walt, man, appreciate you coming through, man. Yeah, hey, we need to start. We know what we start doing is start. We should have it. We're gonna make it happen, man. A segment where we actually post, because there's some good comments after the show. So we're gonna make a comment of the week, some type of. Walt, get off my lawn. for sure, OG, for sure. Problem TV, we gonna get into it. Trade up or bust. He's just announcing it right now. He's announcing it right now, man.
Right.
So let's not, like I said, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it, man. We know it's late. We know it's early for some people, but let's just get into it, man. Look, man. Hey, man. Like I said to start the show, man, GM Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce had interviews recently. AP was at the owners' annual meeting, and obviously Tom Telesco talked to the Raiders media. You know, anything. Hey, look, I'm just gonna y'all already know this already, but anything to do with the Raiders media, you really don't get too much. It's just gonna be a lot of plain bagel answers.
Yes.
They're not gonna really give you anything with substance. You might be able to read into it a little bit, but it was just like, you know, this guy's a great player. We identified him, we got him, and now he's a Raider. You know, like them type of answers where we like, you're not really getting too much out of it. I felt like AP's interview, though, we got a little bit something out of it. And I don't know, if you want to speak on it, before I play this clip.
Yeah, man. You know, AP had a very, very interesting interview, man. But just because he seems to have changed his tone from earlier in the offseason. And I don't know if it's a situation where reality has started to set in, or if, you know, Tom Telesco kind of pulled him to the side like, yo, bro, you giving up the game. All right, I'm out here trying to work. And, you know, what you're saying out here is affecting my work. I don't know if it's a situation or if, you know, AP is still doing his AP thing where he's just still just speaking facts. So, I mean, interesting. It's interesting, man. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he you know, he addressed a lot of different things. He talked about Josh Jacobs being a guy that, you know, he wasn't really happy that he left, but he understands that it was a business. You kind of can see that AP, we kind of know what AP is. He is, and then you've mentioned this in the past, like what you see is what you get. He's not gonna, you know, play around the bush when it comes to like what he's talking about and what he envisions the team to be, and he's kind of like a straightforward guy. Tom Telesco, I feel like, is kind of like the opposite of AP. He's kind of low key, a little bit more. He's more calculative, more experienced. The opposite of AP. AP doesn't really have a lot of head coaching experience, and part of being in that like that high position where you're building a team. So I feel like they kind of balance each other out. Like, you know, to AP, he's aggressive. He's kind of like that, you know, guy that's outspoken. But you know, a guy like Telesco is kind of there to be like, you know what, hey, let's live to fight another day. And look, a bit of free agency was a little bit of AP and Tom Telesco. They were aggressive. They were aggressive by getting Christian Wilkins, but they're also calculative in, you know what, we're not gonna like Tom. When I say calculator, I'm talking about Tom Telesco. We're not gonna bring back Josh Jacobs if it's past this number. And that's what happened. You know, Josh Jacobs went to a place where he felt like he was going to get more money, which he did, because the Raiders didn't offer a matching contract. Even if it's a 1 year, year-to-year deal, it's still more than what the Raiders offered. Yeah, so that's a little calculative. After they've addressed the backup quarterback position, D tackle, they kind of been quiet. There's been small moves here and there, but nothing where you could say like, oh man, like this is a great. This is an aggressive move. This is a big time contract. So I feel like that's a little bit of Tom Telesco. Yeah. And we'll see how the draft shakes out. Do we see Antonio Pierce super aggressive, or do we see a more calculative approach? Tom Telesco.
We'll see. We shall see.
Man. So man, let's get into the chat real quick. Let's get into the chat. My guy Ray loves. Hey man, this guy, he's coming in. Starting off right, man. He says, just run them likes up, y'all. Hey, make sure to clock in if you haven't already. Yes. Man, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff,
Super Night Crew, man. It's a Super Night Crew today.
Hey, the Night Crew is alive and well in the chat, man. If you are, man, make sure the late night, All Eyes on Z. We call it the Night Crew over here, but late night gang sounds good too, but it's the Night Crew. Yes, sir, y'all over here holding it down. And I know J-Dog's like, what's going on? He's having a message like, what? You guys alive? Hey, man. Hey, look, man. We had to pull up. Yeah. But yeah, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification. We're going live on both our channels. So if you haven't subscribed to Severe, go over to Severe's channel and subscribe and hit the like button, as well as mine. If you haven't subscribed to mine, head over, subscribe, hit that notification bell, like button, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, I felt like, they were talking about like, AP had some interesting answers, and we'll get into a lot of them. But let's just move on to the next topic, which is, man, my guy, not just AP, but also the trade is back on. The trade is back on. What I mean by trade, I mean the top three. We heard some rumors. It could be smoke at the end of the day, but I think the Commanders and Patriots also wanted to get an idea of what they can get for number 3 before they make their decision, which is a small glimmer of hope for the Raiders if they want to trade up and get their franchise QB. But we've heard conflicting reports. We're hearing a little bit of. And let me get into. We'll get into that in a second, but we'll talk about Gerard Mayo, and I'll share this on the screen. Hold on one second. Let's get into it, man. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Hold on. Appreciate y'all patience here.
Yes, sir. Hashtag the Night Crew.
Hey, hashtag the Night Crew, man. Appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure to clock in. Hit that like button. So as you can see on the screen, Gerard Mayo, and pretty much says that we're open to trading the pick. We're open to taking a guy there. But he also added, if team offers a bag, they have to take the trade offer into consideration. So that being said, like, he's not really saying no to possibly trading down. And I respect you. That's what you're supposed to do. Keep your options open until the last second. Do you believe all this talk about, like, even, and I can bring up the Commanders as well. I think the Commanders also are taking trade calls on number 2 as well. So they're not. So number 2 and 3, do you believe this talk?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team, it would be negligent if they didn't do their due diligence on a trade, right? What if somebody wanted to offer you 8 first-round picks, but you're saying, oh, no, I'm not trading this pick no matter what. So you have to do your due diligence. I'm sure they're going to listen to offers, field offers, see if one that makes sense for them in terms of, hey, what kind of player are we passing up right now? How much faith do we have in this player developing into an all-pro player, especially if it's a player at the quarterback position, the most important position in all the pro sports. So if they feel they're passing up on a franchise quarterback, I'm sure it's going to take a lot more to sway them to move out of that position. But if they don't feel like they're passing on a guy that's a surefire franchise guy, then hey, you know what? If they can pick up some extra assets and just build the team and continue to build the team and hope to get a franchise quarterback at a later time, then I think that's something they'd have to consider.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I think they're just doing their due diligence. They're just trying to find out what the real value is before they make their decision. They still have to show up to. There's a couple of pro days this week. A few pro days this week. You got Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy last week, but I believe Jaden Daniels and Drake May on Wednesday and Thursday. So, we won't really know until it gets closer to the draft, and we will have a good feel of like, okay, if this is a possibility or not. But. And also there were reports about the Cardinals also be opening the trading down as well. So and they're picking number 4. So you got number 4. If two of these teams are willing to trade down, I feel like the Raiders have a really good chance of getting a quarterback of the future for their franchise. But if it's going to be only one team, then you're competing against the Vikings. Let's be honest; they already have a leg up in that competition just because they have more. For right now, they have a first-round pick this year, 2 first-round picks this year, which they can easily offer next year's first-round pick if they really wanted to get that pick in the top 3 or top 4. But yeah, man. So this is all the smoke that we heard over the weekend as far as like the trade-ups possibility, and yeah, man. And another thing that I caught. This is still smoke. Still smoke season. It hasn't gone away, but this hasn't gone away. Early on, everybody was talking about this is smoke. This is not true. And what this is Tom Pelissero reporting this. He says the belief amongst executives in the NFL who know the Commanders GM Adam Peters is that he will draft J.J. McCarthy at number 2 overall. So if this happens, then that means you got Drake May and Jaden Daniels up there. One of those 2 quarterbacks is going to be dropping.
Yes. I mean I don't think it's true. I'm not that big a fan of JJ McCarthy, but if Adam Peters wants to go ahead and draft JJ McCarthy at number 2, oh my goodness, thank you, because that means for sure Jaden Daniels falls right into that zone where teams are willing. Talk about willing to move down. We just brought up the Patriots saying if somebody offered them the bag, they consider it. You just talked about Arizona. So if it's a situation where, and maybe the Patriots, maybe the Patriots, they like Drake May more, right? That was the guy that for the longest time, he was the consensus number 2 guy. And then, Jaden Daniels passed him up. I had Jaden Daniels passing up everybody. I have Michael Penix passing up those guys too. But if they feel that Drake May, that they want to take a bet on Drake May's upside and draft him 3, then that drops Jaden Daniels right to number 4. That is a and that's a perfect trade partner for us. First of all, we know they don't need a quarterback. They can still get, if they still want to target a wide receiver, they can still get a very good wide receiver at 13. And then the Cardinals are a team that we've had multiple trades with in the past. So, there's already kind of a relationship between our organization and their organization. So it just makes those trades just a little bit easier.
Castro Raider says graveyard crew. For real at this point, but now we
appreciate you, Ray Love.
Hey man, graveyard crew, night crew, we get it, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Look, this is not the only smoke that we're hearing. We're also hearing our guy Antonio Pierce today. Like we talked about earlier, he sat down and gave the media a little an interview. And one of the things that he touched on was the QBs in the draft. So I'm going to go ahead and play a soundbite from there.
Realistically, looking at the top 3 teams, like it's possible all those teams could take quarterbacks. There are some other guys that could be available later. What do you think about kind of that next group of guys, like a J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix type of prospect?
Yeah, I wouldn't even put them in the next group of guys because there's some people that probably see them as number 2 or 3. We don't know everybody's board. I think it's a very talented group. I mean, we interviewed most of those guys at the Combine. Had great conversations with him. J.J. McCarthy, you're talking about a national champion, a winner. So I don't know how he's not in the top 3, if you want to be honest.
Realistically, looking at the top 3 teams, like it's possible all those teams could take quarterbacks. There are some other guys that could be.
So you pretty much heard Antonio Pierce talk about J.J. McCarthy being a top 3 QB, He's a winner. You know what I mean? Champion. How can he not be in the top 3? But it's funny though, like, and this is maybe Tom Telesco's in AP's ear. He's like, man, that was too much talking you did. You need to calm down. The league is listening. They're paying attention to what, what's coming out of, the Raiders building, and you're part of the Raiders building, and you're over here talking about Jaden Daniels, a quarterback that we like, that you like, and you're kind of blowing up the spot. Do you think that's AP kind of trying to maybe moonwalk and try to bring back some of the things that he was saying earlier in the offseason? Now he's kind of like trying to maybe not show his hand?
Yeah, man, I definitely think that, man. I think that it was earlier in the year, all he would talk about was Jaden Daniels. Essentially, everybody knew he wanted Jaden Daniels. It was clear he wanted Jaden Daniels. And now that everybody knows that, I think, they're going to kind of extract maximum amount of capital out of us as they can. So I think if he kind of pivots, that does two things. Hopefully a team that wants JJ McCarthy, says, hey, let's say JJ McCarthy falls and he's on his way to falling toward 13, right? Let's say we don't trade up and JJ McCarthy starts to fall and he's at pick 11 or pick 12. Maybe a team behind us is like, oh damn, well, we know the Raiders, they're high on JJ McCarthy. Antonio Pierce has him as a top 3 quarterback. If we want him, we gotta move in front of those guys to get him. So then, if we really didn't want him, that pushes an extra valuable asset down to us because the team jumped up in front of us to take a player we likely weren't going to take. So it could be a situation, but like I said, it could be a situation where AP is just like, yeah, man, he's a winner. Like, I like this dude. He won games. So that could be the situation as well. But I just think that Tom Telesco has kind of been talking to him like, yo, bro, you need to calm down with all this talking you're doing, or at least you're going to be a little bit more strategic with what you say.
JDog209 says McCarthy is a first-round pick. Yep, please pick him. So he's a JJ guy. He's a JJ guy. Look, man, hey, the way it's looking like, obviously you're not really high on JJ, but it looks like the league possibly might be high on him because it's not going away, man. This smoke is not going away, but we'll see during draft time, man. It's still less than a month or a month away till the draft. So we'll find out real soon how true this is, but like it's not going away, bro. Like everybody's talking about JJ McCarthy, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. The guy that people are not really talking about too much is the Drake May. And going into the process, everybody was assuming that he was that number 2 guy. But like every year, it seems like there's always that one guy that drops. Drake May possibly might be that guy. For a lot of different reasons, he didn't have really a perfect season last season as far as what he put on tape. But you can see the talent is there, the potential is there, but.
I think J-Dog hit you with the crossover, brother. I think he hit you with the smooth, smooth pump fake.
Okay. I see what you're doing, J-Dog. I see what hey, man.
He hit you with a pump fake.
Hey, look, you know what? Look. I see what you did right there, man. Hey, look. Hey, if you can just smoothly just go, like maybe be the representative for AP in the Raiders building and just go to every team and make it seem like, JJ Quarkey is that guy, go into every team's building and let them know, because you smoothly got me with that first one. And now I see. I want Daniels, let them think about that McCarthy guy. Okay, all right. Okay, I can agree with that, bro. I can agree with that, man. For sure. I can agree with that, man. Hey, look, so Derek Luden says Antonio Pierce sparked up when he talked about Bo Nix.
Bro, I'm not a look. There's 2 quarterbacks in this draft that people are high on that I do not like. JJ McCarthy is one of them. Bo Nix is the other one. But I actually have more faith in Bo Nix being a player than I do JJ McCarthy, just because I've seen Bo Nix, his ability to process a little bit better, make better decisions. The only thing about Bo Nix is that 899 of Bo Nix's yards were on passes that were completed behind the line of scrimmage, bro. That is a lot of yards on passes completed behind the line of scrimmage. He rarely went down the field. So I know we all complained about, Jimmy G being the dink and dunk guy. And for us to go from that, even though Bo Nix is a healthier dink and dunk guy, but, do you really want to go from, Jimmy G to another guy that's similar? I mean, I think all the Raiders and Antonio Pierce. Remember, he always talks about he wants to be vertical. Like Bo Nix is not the cornerback that's going to go vertical for you, right? If you want to go vertical, there's two guys, namely, that'll do it. JJ McCarthy not a guy that's going to do it either, to be honest with you. And maybe he can develop into it, but I think he's had like 4 career games where he's thrown more than 230 yards. So I mean,
our Jenkins is, God damn, I'm about to start calling y'all Arsenio Hall with this late night hours. This is
look, bro. They don't know about They don't know about that, bro. They don't know about
this. Must be Cinemax Raiders podcast. Hey, man.
They don't know about it, man.
We make it happen, man. We the late night show, the late evening show, man. The early morning show, like however way you want to call it, man. We are the 50-50 show, man. And we had to pull up and talk this football, man. And look, at the end of the day, like we said earlier in the show, look, Raiders is 365 days out the year, and there was some stuff to talk about, man. So look, like, let's move it along, man. Let's talk about man. It's your favorite segment of the day, man.
69.
Flag on the play. Look, man. Flag on the play, man. We got a couple of flags on the play. We got a couple of flags on the play. If you want to go ahead and tell the people what the first one that's definitely a flag. I mean, but they're both flags. But like, let's start with the first one here. Yeah, man.
So we talked about USC. They had their pro day, and Caleb Williams, of course, what was the main attraction there. And there's a player who was in the LA area that just recently got traded to the Chicago Bears. So he showed up to the pro day. Everybody saw him there, except for one person.
All right, let me go show the people this. Let me get this out the way. So it's not Justin Fields. No, it's not Justin Fields. Caleb Williams.
Bro, that's you.
See, did you see Severe's face when I said Justin Fields? He almost had a heart attack. Caleb Williams, a pro day. Man,
time
fakest dude in the world, man. That's all I gotta say.
Like you ever see, like, I don't know where you guys stay at, but you see like them clean homeless people, like they not super dirty, but they be homeless. That's what Caleb Williams looks like right there,
bro. Like I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip. So Keenan Allen is definitely there. He definitely sees him from afar. But let's start the clip. So he sees him. He sees his ass. He trying to look at. He's going out his way to look at the other side. And this is how this wasn't real. Look, he was like, "Oh, I can't believe you're here."
Man. He tried
and then look at his face right here. Like, oh, so what do I do next?
Man.
Flag on the play for Caleb Williams, man. That's an offense. That's an offense.
Bro, you know what that know what that makes me think of? Like when you like if you out with your lady, right? Or if you out with, somebody you talking to, and you like see a girl with like a big old butt and you can't look at it. And you be like, hey, damn, you know what? Like what's that? Look at that Toyota Corolla over there. Don't your cousin got a Corolla that look just like that?
Yeah, what's over there? You know what I mean? Just knowing what you're doing.
That's what that look like. Like he's like, man, I cannot look over at kid. It's gonna make it too obvious. They had already chopped it up. Like, bro, I'm gonna see you in Chicago.
Man. So that's definitely flagged by Caleb Williams. It was so obvious. Like, come on, man. Like, why didn't you want to say what's up to your boy Keenan Allen? He's gonna be your teammate. Why not just say what's up? He tried to act like he didn't see him. You can see it on the screen, man. But enough of that, man. There's another flag on the play, man. If you want to let the people know what this flag is, I'm gonna put on the screen.
Yeah, man. This is a little bit more serious flag on the play. At the owners meeting, they oftentimes vote on NFL rule changes. And there was a big one up this year. Um, and it is one that was opposed by just about all players and the NFL Players Association as well. And it has to do with a certain form of tackling that is going to be penalized going forward.
Ray Love, I feel you. Do what
Hey,
you gotta
keep it
do.
G.
For real. Oh, Cool Kev says, so Caleb looks like a homeless J. Cole in essence.
Oh man, look, J. Cole has definitely been in the news lately. I'm sure. Anybody that listen to hip hop, they know what's going on.
Yeah, man, we gotta respond for sure, man. He gotta respond. But Raider Nation 510 says Joe Milton III pro day coming soon. Okay, we'll see. I still look at him as a later round option. And like Severe, you said the other day, you made a good point. Like, it's kind of hard to see the Raiders kind of waiting until later round to address the QE position.
Yeah, man.
But we'll see, bro. Because at the end of the day, like, he did, AP did make some comments about AOC and how, like, he felt like the only thing that he needed to step up from was being a vocal leader. Yeah. And he also made a joke about how AOC, you can't confuse him as a runner. And
nobody will make that mistake.
Yeah, and we'll get into the notable quotables in a little bit, man. We'll talk about what was said specifically by AP, but let's actually get into the ban, the NFL ban on the hip drop tackle.
Yes.
And J.J. Watt also basically compared it to being flag football. Then you have guys like Kenyon Drake that's saying, like that's the tackle that got me injured. I'm glad they got this injury out the way, or we're able to ban this tackle. What do you think about it? Do you feel like it still should be in the game? I know we're calling it a flag on the play, but it's kind of controversial because like some players have gotten hurt too as well.
That is true, but I think it's just becoming more and more difficult to I guess it's becoming more and more difficult because it just gets confusing, right? Like what do it was it? So if you have a guy wrapped around. I mean, it's gonna sound like straight. This is a pause right at the moment. But if you got a guy wrapped around the hips, right? Like at that point, like what do you do? You just let him like drag you for 10 yards? Like you can't drop your weight and try to get the dude on the ground. So it's just I think it's confusing for the players. It's gonna be confusing for the refs. I don't think it's gonna be called consistently. It's gonna be confusing for the fans. I just think it's a situation where it's like like. This football is not a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. Injuries are bound to happen. And if you want to outlaw things that are going to get people injured, then just start doing flag football then, because you can get injured on regular hits as well. I know they want to do all that they can to protect player safety. I think part of that is because some of the backlash they've been getting from some of the older players. All the CTE stuff as well. But it comes a point in time where, you got to let these guys get out there and play. And it's becoming such a disadvantage for the defenses, right? Defenses have just started catching up to all of the other rule changes. So now they throw another obstacle in their way. And it's like right when we start getting a good defense, this is when this stuff happens. Like they kind of did it all them years we was trash in defense. Right when we start building a bully on the defensive side of the ball, they want to, they want to implement these rule changes, man. So it's like I'm not saying they're targeting us, but it's just like, man, the timing is bad for us.
Yeah, and it's just today's NFL. At the end of the day, like they want to make it an offensive league. At the end, they want point scores. Same things happening in basketball. Same thing that's happening in a lot of sports. They want scores. They want one more offensive. A more offensive game because that's easier on the eyes for the casual fan. But obviously, if you watch the game, you watch it for a while, you like defense. You can appreciate good defense. Obviously, last year we appreciated a good defense because guess what? We haven't had it in a long time. So that's a good point. Like the timing of it is kind of terrible for the Raiders, but at the end of the day, you gotta be able to like figure out a way to go around the rules. And the Raiders, if they're a good defense, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out.
Facts. I mean, it's gonna be adjustments gonna be made. But one of the things I'm scared of is that since guys can't, since they can't wrap up anymore, I think that you're gonna have a lot of guys that are gonna actually like tackle guys in their legs. And I think that can be a situation where instead of grabbing them on their hips and bringing them down, they're just tackling them at their legs. And I think that can even cause more injuries.
Yeah, man. Hold on 1 second. I gotta. This is
That's it.
Hey, y'all got to go. No tolerance.
Yeah, man.
And by the way, hey, shout out to everybody that's coming through. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I made an announcement the last live. Make sure to hit us up on IG for a potentially be a mod on the channel. Get that special wrench. We need the support. The channel is growing. We see everybody in the chat, man. It's late night right now, and we seen the type of people that's pulling up. But some people ain't part of this squad over here, the night crew. So we gonna get them out of here real quick. So easy. Let's see here. How do I do this real quick? Okay. Boom. That was simple. That was
I just
simple.
think, and look, and the thing that makes this so egregious is that the Players Association, right? These are the people who represent the players. Like the Players Association, who represents the interests of the players, said no, like we don't want this rule. And they were essentially overruled by the owners. So the owners want to keep their players in like bubble wrap per se, right? They want to protect their investment, which I understand. You paying these guys money, you want these guys to be on the field, but at the same time, you also want to put a good product on the field. And we're getting to a point where, especially like a guy like Walt, right? Like the game looks totally different from the brand of football that he saw, back when he started watching the game to what it is now, right? I'm sure it's like night and day. It's damn near, it's damn near. I'm sure it's damn near flag football compared to what he saw back then. So, and then they're just gonna keep pushing these boundaries more and more, and it's like, where does the game go if you keep doing this? And it's. I don't think nobody, no fans were calling like, oh man, like you gotta get that out the game. Like, nobody saw that tackle and like, man, you got to stop that. Like nobody, even the Players Association didn't say you should get it out of the game. So it's just the owners, like being overprotective, in my opinion. And I think they're starting to overstep their bounds.
To be honest with you, the defense has low key kind of been catching up to the offense.
Nah, facts.
Scoring is down, so they're trying to figure out a way where they can score more points. You know what interesting rule that I'm not sure if they voted on, and it was a proposal by a couple of teams, and I brought it up to you before. It was that rule where instead of kicking a onside kick, you had an option of kicking an onside kick or going for it on 4th and 20. And I thought that was actually that's
dope.
like that would have been dope, man. That would have been games would be way more competitive. I like those types of rule changes. Those types of adjustments to the game because it makes things more interesting, more exciting. But when you try to make certain rules where you kind of like, it's obvious that you want the other team to score more points. That's why you're making this rule. It's not really, but there is a compelling argument with guys like Kenyon Drake is bringing it up and saying that, hey man, that's the tackle that I got hurt from, and they're glad that tackle's out the way, or that rule change.
Kenyon Drake owes us money, but like I don't want to hear nothing from Kenyon Drake, bro. You stole from us, bro. So but look, but imagine this though, right? Imagine it's late in the game, right? And the team is down 2 points, right? and it's basically they have no hope at the end of the game, and then they get to doing the lateral stuff, right? They're doing the laterals, the guy lateral to another guy, then the guy starts to break away, and then the guy gets hip drop tackled, and that's an extra 15 yards from where they're at and an automatic first down. It's like I can already see this having a very, very drastic effect at the end of a game, where a guy is trying to break a tackle, or it's a scramble situation and somebody's trying to get a ball carrier down on the ground, and they're doing whatever they can to get the guy down on the ground or keep the guy in bounds, keep a guy from going out of bounds on a tackle, and then they get penalized 15 yards. Man, I think it's gonna be a bad look, man.
Hey man, the chat is they going crazy right now. But yeah, man, we'll see how it looks like next year. But man, it's gonna be tough for a guy that's 5'8", barely 200 pounds, or maybe less than 200 pounds, trying to tackle a tight end, because now you can't even, like, what can you really do? Like, you gotta, bro, I don't know, maybe target the ankles. You gotta get the ankles. Like, I don't know what you could do at this point. And what's gonna happen is
the team that gotta be the happiest is the Ravens. The Ravens gotta be the happiest, bro. Trying to tackle Lamar Jackson or trying to tackle Derrick Henry.
Yeah. And another thing too as well, like what happens sometimes when they make these like drastic rule changes, the players overcompensate and they target a different part of the player's body, and it might lead to more injuries. So like, I don't know, they have to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out if they can make a better rule and better adjustment. But at this point, like, usually when the NFL changes the rule, they don't go back. It is what it is.
Rarely. But but it was another rule. I mean, it was that 4th and 20 rule you talking about. But there's another rule they made that was a modification to the kickoff. I think Fossil, our old special teams coach, Bones. Mm-hmm. Kim and some other guy have proposed it. I forgot how it went, but it changed like how you kicked off. Like, nobody can move until like the kicker actually kicked the ball, and it was like weird when I was reading it, but it sounded like it would have been a good rule, and it will be something that would bring the kickoff back into the game, because right now, like, essentially there's rarely any kickoff attempts. Everybody just kicks it out of bounds, or they just let the ball go out of bounds. So I think it was this rule that would have put the kickoffs back in play, but I don't remember exactly how they did it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they voted on it. I'm not sure if they voted on it yet. It might be that I've seen some reports about it, but I'm not sure if
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Like, it was something to do with special teams. Adjusting the kickoff and like where you can kick it off. Like, there's like certain areas that you can return it from. You have to return it from. So it kind of keeps things interesting. But I'm not gonna lie, I like that rule adjustment, man. If a team has just scored or is about to kick off, they have an option from doing an onside kick or a 4th and 20. I like that, bro.
That's dope.
That makes games way more competitive, because it's kind of like, it just makes you watch it to the end. Makes you watch it to the end. I don't know why they shouldn't even do that. Someone says, Dre, you said you can't hear? Hey, let us know if you can hear, man. I'm not seeing any issues on my end. Let me know if you guys can hear. Okay, Ray Love said you can hear. All right, Dre, you cool? All right, appreciate it. All right. Let's see. J-Dog says Drake is an extra soft running back. I think the best play that he had.
His name is Drake.
Hey, man. Hey, look, man. Severe with another one. But yeah, I think, what was the best play that Drake ever even had with the Raiders? I think it was probably that touchdown pass that he caught from Carr.
Denver. Was it the one in Denver?
That might have been the biggest, best play that he's ever had. I don't think he's had a bigger. He didn't have a long, even though he was known as a speedy kind of back coming out of college. And with the Cardinals, he didn't really have a big run as far as touchdown.
At all.
But,
and it was crazy that Gruden brought him on, and he didn't start even getting no PT until Gruden got fired, or he was forced to resign.
You should say it again?
I said Gruden is the one that brought him on and signed him, but he really didn't get no run until Gruden got fired. Like, that's when he started having his best games, after Gruden was gone.
Yeah, and the thing is, they paid him the way that, like, they paid him a lot to be like, I don't know what their plan was. They probably thought that, you know, he was going to be this dynamic number 2 running back, but they never. Yeah, you're right. They never really utilized him at all. So like that was kind of strange. He should have got a contract that we gave to Madison, you know, because Zamir is the guy that's already on the team, just like Josh Jacobs is the guy that they drafted. Maybe it was kind of like a backup. Maybe they were like, you know what, we got to get this running back because like what they probably didn't. I think Baltimore was one of the teams that was linked to Josh Jacobs in the draft. Maybe they felt like they couldn't get him, but hold on one second. But yeah, man, hey, that pass was like what he did. That pass was like what he did in Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't do too much out there. Gruden overpaid, and Drake left his game in Arizona.
Facts.
But yeah, man, let's get back into it, man. Look, we got through flag on the play, man. So let's get into the notable quotables. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up real quick. The notable quotables, and you guys can guess. You guys can guess where some of the notable quotables came from today. They came from today from Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
You know, he said a lot. We couldn't cover everything all in one at the beginning of the show, but he did say a couple of things that kind of caught our attention. And one of the things, I'm gonna go ahead and play this real quick so everybody can hear. Let me go ahead and play this real quick. Give me 1 second. If y'all haven't liked the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. You haven't subscribed. We're going live on both our channels, as you can see. The Severe Raider on the screen. I'll also PharoahNFL. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell and like the video. You got something to say, Severe?
No, I was saying make sure they subscribe. Clock in.
Yes, sir.
Make sure y'all clock in, man.
And make sure to clock in. Clock in if you haven't already. All right, so let's get into it, man. So look, what I thought was interesting was how AP saw an incoming QB developing on their team, and the beat writer, I think it was Paul Gutierrez. I think he asked him, like, you know, about what he envisioned how a quarterback would come to this team, would he start him right away, and I thought it was an interesting answer.
You were saying the best quarterback for you is who will play. How do you developing rookie quarterbacks is always a challenge. How do you see that helping a guy to evolve into a league? Is rushing him, is playing him quickly, rushing him? Is you need to get the mistakes out of the way? How do you kind of view that?
Yeah, I think it all depends on the quarterback we get and who that guy is. I mean, do you want to throw him to the fire? No. I don't think that's been the best way. I played with a guy like Eli Manning. First pick overall, didn't play until like week 8 or 9, his rookie season. Didn't become a starter until year 2. So 1,000 ways to skin a cat. We'll do what's best for the player and ourselves going forward, and we'll really just let it play out. I can't really answer that question now. Yeah.
Antonio, what did you think of Jordan Love? You caught him.
So he kind of implied, like, hey, the guy doesn't necessarily have to come in and play right away. So they're not going to force the issue. So if you start thinking about it, like, there's certain quarterbacks that can possibly fit in that, you know, mold. Like a guy coming in, it could be, as much as you don't like this, a JJ McCarthy, where people are talking about, well, he needs more time. Maybe AP and the guys in the building, they might like him, but they're okay with him kind of riding the bench and having AOC and Minshew kind of fight it out and be the starters for like a year. That could be a possibility. Or the Raiders, you know, take the best player available at 13 or trade back, get more picks, get your guy Penix maybe later on in the draft, later on in the first round or second round. You know, that's a possibility as well. But what do you think of the comments by AP?
I mean, I think you have to look at what he said. You don't want to throw a guy into the fire. When I think of that, I think you don't want to throw a guy into a bad situation. I don't think a rookie quarterback starting on this football team is necessarily a bad situation, especially if we, you know, kind of make some upgrades to the right side of our line, whether that be through guys that we currently have already or somebody we pick up, you know, early in the draft or later in the draft. I think we already have good running back. We have a who we think is going to be a very good tight end. We have a top 5 receiver in the league. We probably have a top 7-ish number 2 receiver in the league. So I think, us starting a rookie is not throwing him to the fire. I think that's just, getting him playing time early, especially if he earns that job in camp. Because you look at how the coach said straight early on, as soon as they drafted Anthony Richardson, like we're starting him. He is going to start because he's a rookie and he needs reps. So I think that's how you get better. You don't want to, put them out there where they're going to be taking a bunch of hits and then they start to develop bad habits. But you also want to make sure they're out there actually learning, why the bullets are flying, because that's when most of the growth happens. Perfect example, which is ironic because that's the guy they talked about next. You look at Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love set for 3 years. And in that first half of the season, he was garbage. Even after spending all that time sitting and watching, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time play. It wasn't until he actually started getting those reps. And then later on in the year, he was, I think the last half of the season, he was the best quarterback in the league by the numbers. So I think, at some point, these guys have to play. They have to see what NFL speed, taking an NFL hit, what NFL windows look like from that quarterback position.
Yeah, and I think AP is just trying to I think he's trying to throw everybody off too as well, but then also kind of let us know that they like a guy like Minshew. They like what he brings to the table. They like the mentality. You heard AP today talk about the type of people they want to bring in the building and how that's his responsibility. And here's a little bit of a quote that I posted. If y'all take a look at the screen in a second, you see he said, "I'm the guardian at the gate. I'm not letting any evil into that building." So this kind of answers why a guy like Wilson didn't get on the team. Because early on I was talking about how Wilson should be an option for the Raiders just because how cheap he is. It's a win-win. He got the experience. But AP early on, he said it time and time again, how whoever comes into the building, whether it's a coach or a player, has to be a Raider. They have to fit a mold. They have to fit into the building. And he identified certain players that we probably wanted them to pick up, but that didn't happen because they weren't guys that necessarily fit in the building. So I think a guy like
Justin Fields.
She said Justin Fields. Hey, he didn't fit. They didn't make that trade. But a guy like Russell Wilson, we talked about that before, and this kind of answers why he wasn't a Raider. They weren't big on him, and they were bigger. They were bigger on Minshew than they were Russell Wilson. Look at the contract. Look at the contract that Minshew got, which was crazy. Yes, sir. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So AP wasn't done yet.
AP sounded like somebody pastor. He sounded like now they know he went to this building.
AP wasn't done yet. AP was asked about what type of QB that he hated to go against, the type of play style, and this is him talking about the type of QB that he hated to play against.
What kind of quarterback did you absolutely hate facing?
Damn runner, Michael Vick. That was Vick, McNabb, all those guys, because it's 11 on 11. I like the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Manning's of the world. Sit there, you throw that marker down, he's still there. But when that marker started moving and now I'm in coverage, do I come out? Do I stay with my guy in zone coverage? Do I turn my back, go plaster as we call it, find the nearest receiver? Those guys are always difficult, man. The guys that move around, Patrick Mahomes, just a thorn, right? Because he extends the play now, goes from 2.2 seconds to 2.6, 2.7, sometimes 3 and 4. That's never good for a defense.
Bro, hey, man, he's kind of he's saying one thing, but then this right here, I really believe him. I think he wants a guy that can run at that position. He talked about AC, saying they really like him at the end of the day, but he also in the same interview that he had today, he mentioned how at the end of the day, we're not. He laughed too about it. He said we're not going to confuse AOC as a runner. It's not something that we expect him to do. And then he talks about a QB that he hates going against, a quarterback that adds that ability to run. So that's definitely something they want to add to the room. And that the only place they can find that at is the draft. I mean, Minshew, they might like his mentality. They might like him as a backup, being that room, that tough, gritty type of player. But at the end of the day, like, I think who they want as a quarterback for the Raiders it's not on the team yet. And I think it's going to be in the draft. And they're going to make an attempt to trade up. And we'll see how it shakes out. But what do you think of the comments of AP kind of describing the type of quarterback that he hates going against? Do you think that that might have any influence on what type of quarterback they draft?
Yeah, man. I think I think there's another part in that same interview where he spoke about, they asked him about Jaden Daniels and about, hey, what does Jaden Daniels do? And he talked about how Jaden Daniels has the ability to run, right? And it's like, hey, he's basically in terms of speed, how he was running away from guys in the SEC. And I think him being a former defensive player, a former defensive captain, he knows firsthand how difficult those kind of guys are to defend. So, of course, I think he's going to look for guys where he can think to in his past, what, as a defensive player, what did we struggle against? Or when we're in those defensive meetings, what gave us headaches, right? When I was out there trying to call out, trying to make the signals and make the calls on defense, what did I not want to see on the opposite side of the field? So I think that points to us getting a guy. It doesn't have to necessarily be a runner, but a guy that's more mobile than what we currently have.
Yeah, and Cool Kev says Minshew was the insurance policy for sure. Yeah, definitely a guy they're like, you know what, if we're not able to get our guy in the draft, at least we have someone in the QB room that can compete with AOC, and whoever the best man is, they'll start the 2024 season. But like you said, Severe, you said this before, it's going to be hard to envision the Raiders kind of going with whoever's in the quarterback room right now, and they don't attack the draft, or they wait till the later round to get a QB. I think they'll make an attempt, but Tom Telesco is kind of he's kind of the X factor in all of this, because AP wants to get a QB. We know AP wants to get a QB. We know that for a doubt. But Tom Telesco is kind of it has to be for the right price. Let's just take the best player available. So he might throw a wrench in some of the QB plans if that's what AP has, is to get a QB high in the draft. But Telesco has to agree to the deal. Walt talks about this, man. We'll talk about it real quick. He says, you hear the rumor, Raiders. I seen that. Greg Newsome at cornerback. I like it. He's man. We do. Yep, he's young, and we need to add to that cornerback room. He's a good cover corner. So, yeah, definitely add him to the room, man, because we need it. We need it, man, because that's a position that we kind of haven't really addressed. We thought maybe possibly we might be in on maybe some of the veterans, but I guess it has to be for the right price because it hasn't happened yet. O-line, you know what I mean? We haven't addressed that as well. Hopefully we add somebody to the room, but you hear Telesco talk about, Thayer Munford. He likes him at right tackle. He likes him at right guard, so he's kind of hyping him up. So that's a guy that can be a potential starter, but we'll see. The draft is going to be full of different options. I think they definitely need to attack the O-line in the draft. Man, if they can keep most of their picks, hopefully second round, maybe we target somebody, and maybe the first round. If it doesn't go the Raiders' way, meaning trading up to get their quarterback, they might have to take someone at number 13 or trade down, trade back, and in my opinion, maybe grab the best O-line on the board, offensive tackle specifically.
Yeah, the thing about Telesco is that even though he hasn't traded up really that I can think of. Oh no, wait a minute. I think he traded up for somebody. I can't remember who he moved up for. It was somebody that ended up not being good though, so maybe it's not important. But the thing is that just every spot that he's been at, they've had good quarterbacks, right? He was with Indianapolis, and they had Peyton Manning. I think he was there maybe the first year for Luck, maybe the first 2 years for Luck. Then he got to the Chargers, and it was Phillip Rivers. And then the Chargers, they kind of didn't have a guy, and then they got Justin Herbert. So I think every stop he's been at, he's had a good quarterback. So I think he knows the importance of having that number one guy at that most important position. So I think that he will do whatever. I think he'll do what's necessary if he's sold on the guy being the franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and the one thing I like about Telesco is that he's had experience being around some good QBs. So he knows what it looks like, and he's coming from a team, the Chargers, who drafted Justin Herbert. We all know the league kind of respects him and his talent. He was able to identify that quarterback. That's something that he's proven. He's been in the same building as Andrew Luck. He's been in the same room as Phillip Rivers and some other good QBs. So like he knows what it looks like. So he's not gonna force it. If he feels like it's a guy that he can get, he'll do it. But we'll see, man. Because I'm not gonna lie. Like this is a quarterback's league. So if he goes into next year, I think it's to AP's benefit and the GM's benefit to get a QB of the future because it kind of gives them more time. You know what I mean? It gives them more time to develop this team. And that was one of the things that I thought was interesting that McDaniels didn't do was get a quarterback. And when I say get a quarterback, obviously they drafted AOC. I'm talking about early. Because, bro, they would still be here. I'm glad they're not here, but they would still be here, though.
Bro, I said in the past, I don't care who our coach was, as long as we winning, bro. If we get CJ Stroud throwing to Devontae and Jacoby Myers, imagine that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Kevin says. Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm about to say, man, it is what it is. We have what we have now, but we've been dealt the hand that we've been dealt, and we kind of got to make the best of it.
Yeah, and Kevin says Russell Wilson. Let me put it back on the screen. He said Russell Wilson still has got game, just not using it. I do believe though, like he is in a better system. I didn't think he fit in that Sean Payton system where he had to dink and dunk his way to get to where he needed to go. I don't think that's Russell Wilson's game. He likes to throw it deep. He likes to chuck it deep. He has a good arm. He's accurate downfield. He likes to buy time. He may not be the same player, but I feel like that fits his offense a little bit better. Run the ball, like what Seattle was doing back in the day with beast mode. Run the ball over there. Steelers like to run the ball. That's always been in their DNA. And you got a guy like Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator. That's the type of system that he runs. He likes to run the ball, play action, and they'll take calculated shots. And I think that's like Russell Wilson's game. But we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out, man. Russell Wilson's not the same player that he was in his prime, man. He's 35 years old. He's not as fast as he used to be. Them hits kind of catch up to you, I feel like, especially with these types of quarterbacks. If you haven't really transitioned to that cerebral type of quarterback, these types of quarterback where they use their physical talents to separate themselves, to make plays, they age a little bit faster. Because we seen Michael Vick, we seen Michael Vick a little bit older. He wasn't the same Michael Vick that we're used to seeing, Yeah.
Michael Vick did time to pen too, though, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, he did time to pen. I'm not gonna lie, and because I'm not gonna lie, if you stay away from football for more than a year, I think that's almost like a death sentence almost.
Yeah, man.
Bro, because if you just think about the players that think about, all right, you brought up Michael Vick, right? Away from the game, came back, but he's so talented, he was able to come in and look productive with Andy Reid when he was with the Eagles. He looked good, man.
Andy Reid's just a genius, though. Andy Reid's just a genius.
Oh yeah, he's a genius. He's an offensive genius. I hate to admit it because he's a chief at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But you gotta give him a little bit of respect, man. Like he's one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the game. But yeah, look, what's dude that that got suspended for the weed?
Melvin Gordon?
No, not Melvin Gordon. I think it was Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon. There you go, Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon. Yeah. He got suspended. Comes back, man. The dude was having 200-yard. 4 straight 200-yard games?
He was killing. He was killing with Cleveland. Killing. I think he got in trouble with that stuff at Baylor too, though, bro. So it's like, and then our boy who never did he even play a game for it? No, he played some regular season games for us. Alden Smith. Didn't he get that dude couldn't stay?
You said Alvin Smith?
Alden Smith?
Alden Smith.
Yeah.
You said Alden?
Yeah. Same dude. Same dude. He never played for us. That's all I know.
No, Alden Smith, bro, that he had issues, bro. Like that dude had a really real life, like he was doing the same thing over and over again.
Bro.
You know, at the end of the day, like
he was supposed to be a dog, man. He should have been one of them ones, bro.
He was though, bro. He was.
He was one of them ones, man.
He just, man, I just remember that clip where one of the last time, I think this is when right after the situation, the Raiders end up cutting him. And he got into like a DUI situation, and then they released him out of San Francisco. I'm gonna send you the clip. I don't even want to play it on the screen. But when he got out the jail, he looked so lost, bro. Like it looked sad, bro. It was so sad. He looked like they were talking to him, and then like he walked away and he had like no shoes on. I was like, damn, what's going on, bro? Like he got some demons, man. You got some demons for sure.
Hey man, so somebody put it in the chat, man. But Deshaun Watson, the same thing, man.
Exactly.
Deshaun Watson was the top 7-ish QB, and then now, bro, he's just, maybe he needs some massages to, maybe that was the key. Maybe the key to Deshaun Watson's game was massages, bro, and they took that away from him, man, and it's crazy.
That's how competitive football is, bro. Like if a player doesn't play like 1 year, even Calvin Ridley, like he was on the up and up. He still got paid. Don't get me wrong, he got paid. He's still talented. I'm not saying, but even a Calvin Ridley, he wasn't as good as he was when he was with the Falcons. So, you can tell because if he was, then the Jaguars would definitely keep him. They would pay him if he was that guy that they felt like he was. And he wanted to go back to the Jaguars, but they weren't willing to pay. And he ended up going to the Titans, which the Titans, that's a whole different conversation, but they're kind of going all in with this rookie QB on a rookie deal. Like who they got? They got Calvin Ridley. They got the receiver they did drafted a few years ago that a lot of people like coming out.
Damn, what was my guy's name? Damn.
Anybody in the chat, man? It's late night, early morning.
Damn. He's a big dude. He's like he replaced AJ Brown. He's kind of the same.
Yeah, they drafted him to replace AJ Brown.
Same kind of. He's the same kind of player though. What's my guy's name?
And they got old boy too. That they got in the offseason last offseason from the Cardinals, wide receiver. Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, DeAndre Hopkins. Oh yeah, he's still over there.
Is it Berkman? Is it
Traylon Burks?
Traylon Burks, man. Hey man, see, made it happen. But Traylon, they building something over there, man. They building something.
Or Trelon Burks. I mean,
Trelon Burks?
No, it's Traylon.
this dude. Trelon. Man, Bosco says they took Deshaun's happy ending.
Bro, facts, man. Somebody said, they said, watch his hand come free lotion. That's hilarious.
Not Tajay Spears. Y'all saying Tajay Spears. Not the running back. We were talking about the receiver. We're talking about the receiving core. But Spears, is part of that. He's that up and up running back. I think they got Pollard from the Cowboys. So they're kind of putting pieces on that offense. They're going all in. And that's what the Raiders are trying to do. They're trying to get a quarterback on a rookie deal. And then the next few years, they can really put a talented team together. But the key is to get that quarterback. Right now, I don't think it's in the building. Just let's keep it real. But let's actually move it along, man. Hey, man, what's real and what's not? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about these what's real and what's not. And the first what's real, what's not, and I'm gonna move this out the way so the people can see.
Seriously.
The Raiders will rush more yards with the committee than the previous 2 years. I guess I'll start it off, man. I'm gonna say this is not real. I'm gonna say it's not real, and I already know where Severe is gonna go, but I'm gonna say it's not real. And the reason why I say this is not real, I feel like you said the last 2 years, and Josh Jacobs in 2022 rushed for what, 1,600 yards, and then you got the next best thing, whoever's running, and we're just talking about the running backs, right? And the production from that room, not the rushing overall with the team, like the quarterback rushing or anything like that, but we're just strictly talking about the running back.
I doubt if we really had any.
Yeah, I know, right? I was just thinking about it. I was like,
Derek Carr. Damn sure.
Derek Carr wasn't running. Derek Carr wasn't running. Derek Carr wasn't running either. But yeah, man. So I'm looking at that 2022 season. So are you saying that the total amount in 2 years, or are you saying
not the total amount, not like in each of the past 2 years?
Maybe last season. But then Josh was hurt a little bit. I don't know, man. I think that's not real. And anybody in the chat, y'all can comment and let us know if this is real. The Raiders will rush more yards with a committee than the previous 2 years, man. What are your thoughts, man? I obviously don't think this is real. I think Josh Jacobs, you're disrespecting his name. He was a productive running back. He's gone over 1,000 yards. There's an unknown factor with Zamir White. We don't know. We don't know what a Madison can do. Madison, he might be better as a number 2 running back, maybe, but we don't even know if he's going to make the team. There's a lot of unknowns, so it's too early to say. I'm going to say this is not real. We lost a good one in Josh Jacobs, and we'll see if we can figure it out from there. But what are your thoughts, Severe?
I definitely think it's real. Even when Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing, I think all of our other backs combined had like 200 yards on the year, something crazy like that. So even with him doing what he did personally, our team, we were ranked like in the bottom half of the league in terms of rushing. So it's not like that what he did like propelled us to be in some great running team, because he refused to come off the field. He refused to let guys like Zamir White get any run. And now we see why. Because as soon as Zamir White got on the field, it's like, oh, well, maybe Josh Jacobs ain't that good. Like maybe he's just, maybe we could put any, average running back there and they'll produce. And so, man, I think we're gonna match and exceed that production from the past 2 years. I think we're gonna be surprised with how well we're able to run the football. And I think that's going to be a bright spot. I think Madison has a little bit of a bounce back. I think he is kind of better in that number 2 role. But when you have a committee, you let these guys, whoever is the hot hand is going to get the ball. So if Zamir is having one of those games, like, you know what, hey, we're going to let Zamir get off. If Madison is having a game, we're going to let Madison get off, and then we still got Amir back there who's not really a runner. He's more of a third down guy. But, on a third down, we can get hit teams with some draws every now and again, pick up them 7, 8, 9 yards on a draw play. So I just think that, we're going to have a much more balanced rushing attack than we've had in the previous years.
Okay. So I'm gonna shout out a couple of people in the chat, starting with Bosco. He says, big little Bosco. He says, yes, if we start a mobile quarterback. Oh, that's a good point. When you have a mobile quarterback, it does add a little bit more to the running game, because you got a guy that can possibly break a big one, and you got to account for that, and it makes easier for there's bigger lanes for running backs to go through. So I think that's a good point. That's definitely a good point. And I'm gonna go to also Yaya Hatamaki, man. He says how much Getsy runs. You know what? That's a good point, because the number 1, number 2 rushing team in the NFL the past couple of years, or number 1 at least, or number 1 and number 2. I think last year was number 1. I think they were the number 1 rushing team. Was the Chicago Bears, and that was a Getsy coached offense. But then you kind of have to think about, like,
that's Justin Fields though.
Yeah, it was a Justin Fields. But even when Justin Fields didn't play, hey, if you're a Raider fan,
their run game tore us up. Yeah.
Exactly. If you're a Raider fan and you watched the games last year, and one of the games was against Chicago Bears, and Antonio Pierce had front row seats to that, Getsy drew up a game plan with an undrafted free agent, and it was run the ball. And the Raiders couldn't do nothing to stop it. So you guys make good points, but it's kind of hard. It's a lot of unknown with who's going to be running the ball next year. Zamir White is going to be a featured back. That's a big difference from going from a guy that's coming off the bench. We don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see how it shakes out. We got some Zamir White fans here. Sig says White is a beast. That O-line needs fixing seriously, or no one's touching anything near 1,500. Yep, facts. 100%. We need to get a right tackle, some material online. That's another concern there too. The O-line, man, because Josh, at times made that O-line look a lot better than it did. Last year you can maybe point to Josh Jacobs not being the same guy, but in that 2022 season, he uplifted that O-line, man. He uplifted that O-line.
Down the stretch, Josh Jacobs didn't do anything. But I don't want any guy getting 1,500 yards. I think if we have anybody that gets 1,500 yards, then that was kind of a failure of a season. You want like 3 or 4 guys around like the 700-800 yard mark. That's ideal. If you get a guy, your leading rusher should be about 1,000. Maybe your second rusher in the 600 to 700 range. That's when you're in that sweet spot.
Yeah. Furbo Football says, is this James Furbo? Usually you come in the chat saying Raiders, but look, he says maybe just similar names. Last year, O-line wasn't good in the run game at all. JJ made up for it somewhat. You're talking about the 2022 season. I think you can make a real good claim.
Yeah, look, even damn sure wasn't last. Look, if a damn sure wasn't last year.
Our O-line ain't perfect. We do get a little bit overpowered in the run game. We had some guys get beat. So hopefully they're able to maybe make some moves in the draft. Maybe draft a couple of guys in the mid rounds, offensive guards. If they can get a tackle early too, that would be a big benefit. Add to the room. Man, O-line is it's not the sexiest pick, but O-line it's the foundation, bro. You cannot do anything without upgrading the trenches. The D-line is set. The D-line, man, I feel good about our D-line next year. O-line is a question mark. Hopefully that's going to be addressed in the draft. Cool Kez, Jacobs came in rusty and couldn't recover. Now he's under pressure to prove himself again to see that $48 million. Maybe that's the best way for him to make that money. Maybe he needs that pressure because he did rush for his a career best, led the league in rushing over 1,600 yards in 2022. Mm-hmm. So the Packers, man, knew what they were doing. Edgar Bonilla also talks about Getsy runs an outside zone, and Abdullah is the only one that runs outside. You write it's a lot of unknown, bro. You know what I mean? Britton Brown, does he even have an NFL carry? I know he's played in the preseason. Nah,
just preseason. I don't think any of those other guys do. I don't think Britton Brown does. I don't think Sincere does. I don't think Andrew Walter does either. Or not Andrew Walter. What's it? Something Walter.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking about the quarterback, but something Walter. I forget his name. But Walter.
Yeah. It's running back.
Yeah, the running back Walter. It's not Andrew Walter. That was the guy we should have just started.
You took it all the way, Andrew Walter.
All the way back. That's the guy we should have started instead of drafting Jamarcus Russell.
Man, those are the dark ages, man. Andrew Walter at quarterback, man, that was.
I would have rather have Andrew Walter throwing to Calvin Johnson than Jamarcus Russell throwing to whoever the hell we got, Lewis Murphy and some nonsense. Like, I don't.
Man, especially because what we got out of Jamarcus Russell was nothing. We didn't get anything. Yeah, man, that's a whole different conversation for another day. But let's move it along, man. The next, what's real and what's not. As you can see it on the screen, the Raiders will rush. Oh no, we already touched on this, man. My bad. AOC will beat any rookie QB that we draft, not named Caleb Williams or Jane Daniels. AOC will beat any rookie QB that we draft, not named Caleb Williams or Jane Daniels. Is this real or is it not? I'm gonna let you take it.
Oh, that is definitely not real. That is definitely not real, bro. I think that I don't think he'll beat JJ McCarthy, to be honest with you. I mean, even though I don't like JJ McCarthy, I just think JJ McCarthy has so many tools that, he will end up winning the job. He for damn sure not beating Michael Penix. I mean, Michael Penix beating that man out the gate. I don't think he'll be even if we draft Drake May. I mean, I think that'll be a tough battle, but I think Drake may just edge it just because of his athleticism and what he can do in the Getsy system. So I mean, I think Aiden O'Connell will have a very difficult time beating anybody that's not like Spencer. Maybe he beats Spencer Rattler, possibly, but I think Spencer Rattler could get him too. I mean, it's going to be AOC is going to be having a hard time beating if we get a competent rookie, he's gonna have a hard time winning the competition just because he's so physically limited, And think about it like this. Put it like this: AOC is a pocket passer, right? Like that's what he is, right? So I mean, he has to be able to deliver the ball accurately, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had Devontae Adams, right? Devontae Adams is a top 5 receiver in the league, right? Top 3, probably, right? He had Jacoby Myers, right? Jacoby Myers is one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the league, right?
Yep.
Having all of that at his disposal, he was only a 62% passer. That is terrible. This is the one thing you have to be good at, and you weren't that good at it. So, for us to expect him to all of a sudden come in next year and just be like some lights out guy, I don't see that happening. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to have a very long career. He's a smart guy, a hard worker, but I don't think he's ever going to truly be an NFL starter.
Nah, I agree, man. I'm not a big AOC guy, man. I like, I appreciate what he did at 4th round rookie quarterback coming in. That's never easy, but you can see the limitation, bro. Like you mentioned, like he can't run at all.
Yeah.
And then we just played clips of AP talking about the hardest type of quarterback that he had to go against were running quarterbacks. He named the Michael Vicks. He talked about the pocket passers like the Eli Manning or the Peyton Mannings or Tom Brady's, but he said he felt like it was easier to go against them because it felt like it was 11 on 11. It was a mano a mano where he felt like the defense had a chance. But with a running quarterback, you're at a disadvantage, and AP sees the value in that. And think about it. If AOC could run just a little bit, would we have lost a 3-0 game against the Minnesota Vikings, who are picking number 11th ahead of the Raiders? Yeah. Would we have lost that game? We lost a 3-0 game. That's on AOC's resume, man. We lost 3-0. The man can't move. Even AP made a joke about him not confusing him as a runner. So that should tell you everything you need to know, man. They know what they have in AOC. They like him, but he is what he is. They see the ceiling, and in today's NFL, you need to get a running quarterback. And if they're able to get that in the first couple of rounds, like for example, a Michael Penix, you might not like this, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, all those guys that I've mentioned. Think about it. This is how much they don't like. This is how much confident they feel in AOC. They went out and paid a pretty good, solid contract to guard Minshew. It's pretty solid contract. 2 years, how many $1 million guaranteed? Yeah. They could have went cheap.
I think it's 15 guaranteed, I want to say. Is it
15 guaranteed, which, it's kind of bridge, high-end, backup, low-end bridge starting quarterback. I see what they're trying to do. But at the same time, they could have went cheap. If they really felt good about AOC and then maybe draft another quarterback, they could have went cheap and got I don't know. You got the guy from Jacoby Brissett, who has starter experience.
That's the guy who won it last year instead of Jimmy G. He knew that system. But man, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's trading up looks almost impossible at this point. I like Penix, but I think people are going to be surprised how high Penix goes, man. I think if we don't draft Penix in the first round, we're not going to have an opportunity to draft him, just because I don't see him falling that down draft boards. And let's say we don't draft him, right? If we try to trade back up for him being on the board, it makes that pick or makes that trade up more expensive.
Yeah. And Walt says draft Fuaga to play right tackle, move Mumford to right guard, problem solved. Hey, you know what was interesting? We didn't touch on this a little bit. We didn't talk about Tom Telesco because we know that he's talking to the Raiders media, which they're not going to really, ask him any like questions where we can get some real answers. But sometimes there might be some clues. And one of the things that Tom Telesco said in the interview, he brought up that he really liked Thayer Mumford at right tackle and right guard. Yeah. So you guys can take that for however way you want. Maybe they're looking at him as a possibility to move to right guard if they're able to draft a right tackle, like Walt is saying right here, draft a Fuaga who can possibly be there at number 13, or maybe trade down, maybe get a right tackle, whoever they get. I think that tackle position needs to be attacked in the draft, like without a doubt. If they're not going to address it in free agency, which is at this point too little, too late, it's looking like the draft. But it's going to be interesting though if the Raiders do decide to trade up. Are they going to keep that second round pick this year? Because I think, if you
likely not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think that's going to probably be included in whatever trade that they move up for. It's going to probably be the first and the second round pick this year, and probably first or second next year, and probably an additional first down the line. So it's going to be very expensive, man. It's going to be very expensive, especially depending on who's on the board. It's depending on who's on the board. If Jaden Daniels on the board and you want to trade up, and now if it's the Cardinals, if it's the Cardinals that we're trading up with, maybe it's not as expensive. But if it's the Patriots that are trading down, Patriots who need a quarterback, and we have to entice them enough to not take a quarterback, it's going to get expensive, man.
Sig says Penix is the best QB in the draft, though. Remember, I said that. All right, we got a Penix, man. We got a Penix supporter, man. I was gonna make a joke, man, but I don't know, man. That's a little too much for YouTube.
Try to get us flagged.
Man, YouTube's gonna get us bad, man. It is what it is, man. Let's see here. Darnold got 1 year, 10 million. Did he? But look, hey, that's what happens, bro. Like that's what happens when one player at that position, similar skill set, or it's not similar skill set, but like similar type of bridge type quarterback, backup quarterback. When one player gets the bag, it kind of forces the other team to pay more because that's the market. That's just the name of the game. So Darnold getting a 1 year, 10 million, and I think a lot of people like Darnold, former first round pick. He was kind of highly sought for it. Then they traded for him, right? I believe they traded for him. But the Vikings?
Oh, the Vikings? I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure he's a free agent.
Did they sign him to a contract, or did they trade for him?
I think they signed him to a contract. I want to say they signed him to a contract because he was with the Was he with the Panthers last year?
No. He was with the 49ers. He was the 49ers.
Oh yeah. He was the backup in the 49ers. Yeah. But he was with the Panthers the year before that, I want to say. Sam Darnold, the dude ain't no good. Like even old boy, even Kyle Shanahan let him get about the building, right? So it's like that should tell you something.
Yeah. This is the late show. Yeah, man, no doubt, man. We try to break records over here, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Should I give the people a friendly reminder of how that like button looks? Because sometimes people forget, man. We're going live on both our channels, like you see it on the screen right here. We got The Severe Raider, PharoahNFL. If you haven't subscribed to any of those channels, man, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. And I'm just going to give y'all a friendly reminder, man, of how that like button. Clock in. I keep forgetting to say this, man. Make sure to clock in, man. Clock in. If you're on the way out, make sure to clock out and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff. That's how the like button looks, man. Hey, Severe is going to be all right, even though he's getting attacked by so many thumbs. Yeah, man, it's all good. It's all good. Severe will be all right. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. But let me hit up the chat real quick. Give me just a second, Severe. Hold on 1 second. Walt says Mumford played right guard in his last year at Ohio State. Ooh, okay. That's a nice little fun fact right there. So you can see the Raiders kind of looking at like player skill set, their background. So that's a nice little fact right there. If you want to hit up the chat, Severe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Walt over here talking about it. I think Walt making breakfast for. He talking about. I think he got some bacon with some diced Black Forest ham, extra sharp cheddar. Yes, man. Walt up here chefing. Walt chefing, man. You doing the thing, man. All right, I ain't mad at you, brother. Yeah, but I agree with my guy, Sick Homie Cal. I think Penix. Well, Avenge asked, do we feel Penix is a reach at 13? He is a reach at 13, but I think it's a calculated reach. I think sometimes you have to look at not necessarily where the player is valued, what the position is valued. So last year, was Kenny Pickett a first-round quarterback? No. But he was like the best quarterback in that class. So Kenny Pickett got overdrafted. I think if you make a calculated risk, you can make it work, but just because of how the board will fall, it'll be easier to draft Penix at 13, and then you can trade up for a right tackle later on, and it'll cost you less than it would be for you to draft that right tackle at 13 and then try to trade up for Penix, because there are going to be other teams that are going to be trying to get up and trade for a quarterback if they see that quarterback falling and they like them. There's not going to be too many teams looking to trade back into the first round for a right tackle. A lot of times those teams will just wait for one to fall to them. If you really like a guy like Amarius Mims, right, he'll probably be there in the mid to late 20s. That's a guy, maybe you target him later on. But if a guy like Penix starting to fall, then all those teams that didn't have an opportunity to draft a quarterback early on, they're going to be looking to move back up into the first round. And then you got to also consider Seattle, right? Seattle's sitting there at 16, who they're in the same state with his former offensive coordinator. And their starter is Geno Smith, who is like, kind of a mid starter as an NFL quarterback. So if they're looking to upgrade, that's like a hand in glove fit right there. So, I think he's going to go earlier than people think.
Yeah, Seattle's attacking that QB position because they traded for, they gave us some picks to get Sam Howell from the Commanders. Obviously, they got Geno Smith in the building. Yeah, so they got him. So now, like you're saying, that they're probably gonna maybe if Penix isn't on the board, you can see that fit with that his former OC at the same position with the Seattle Seahawks. But the thing about Penix, man, I'm just scared off his injuries and a little bit of his play style, because he's kind of mostly a pocket passer. You know what I mean? We didn't really see him move around a little bit. I know you showed me examples. We talked about it in the last show that we had this weekend, and you talked about like there are certain moments against a top D line and against Texas where he was able to move around a little bit. But for the most part, he's kind of more in the pocket. He's not a guy that you'll see him run and get a first down like that. I'm not sure if that's part of his play style, because in today's NFL, you need that. And
see, but the thing is. That's the thing, he is. I think people they look at selective games. Like everybody saw the Michigan game, and that's like, oh, he can't move, he can't. But like I watched him against, of course I'm a UCLA fan, so I watched him against us. But he doesn't scramble. He doesn't like run like he's not going to like try to like go and get a first down, but he'll move around, and he's the kind of guy that he moves around, but he's looking to throw the ball when he moves around. So he's not looking for a lane to run and gas you. He's looking for a receiver to break open and beat you with the throw. So I think that's where it kind of like, I think that's where there's a little bit of a disconnect.
Yeah, man. I hear you, man. I know he's your guy. He's number 2 on the board. It's just I'm not 100% sold, man. At 13. But hey, the Raiders could get desperate. Who knows? But Telesco, man, he's the yin to AP's yang, because you already know AP wants to go and get a quarterback early, or if not at 13. You already know that's going to happen. But I think Telesco's probably going to calm them down and see what they can do. And shout out to Bosco. He says if we draft Penix, we talked about this before. Hey, they definitely got to address that right tackle spot because he's a left-handed quarterback.
Yeah.
So for sure, facts, 100%. So they're gonna have to figure out that position. From what I've seen, people kind of project the Raiders getting that O lineman at number 13, and then the Raiders kind of trading up into the first round to get Penix. But it's gonna be tough though. It's gonna be tough.
It's more difficult, man. It's more difficult that way.
Yeah.
It's more like I said, like perfect example. That's what the Texans. I've used the example of C.J. Stroud. If the Texans would have drafted Will Anderson at number 2 instead of drafting C.J. Stroud and then tried to trade back up to number 3 to draft C.J. Stroud, that price tag is exponentially more. So it's I think the smart move is maybe if you want to move back off of 13 and move back a little bit and take Penix and then use the ammunition off that trade to trade back into the back end of the first round, maybe something like that happens. But if not, bro, if it comes down to like passing up on them, and we got no other options at QB, man, I'm taking them at 13.
Yeah, I know you would, bro. That's your guy, man. That's your number 2 quarterback, man. But yeah, man, hey, man, we just wanted to come through, man, and just talk about the latest and greatest with the Raiders, man. Hey, man, if you missed it, man, make sure to watch the replay from earlier in the show. We got into the interviews with AP and obviously Tom Telesco and their thoughts on the team and just where we see the team overall, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. This is a late night edition of the 50-50 show with me, PharoahNFL, and obviously my guy, the Severe Raider, as you see it on the screen. Make sure to subscribe to both channels. Make sure to clock in, man. And if you leave it, man, make sure to clock out on the way out. If you haven't, like the button, subscribe, hit that notification, all that good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. We had to come through, man. Even though it was real late, we had to come through or real early, depending on how you look at it, man. It's all about perspective. Real late or real early. You know what I mean? That's like there might be a sound effect coming with from Bruce Lee or something like that, where he's real late or real early. It's how you see it. You know what I mean? Dante Foreman. You think that? I know he played in that offense, a possibility, but I'm not sure if he comes for the cheap. If he's trying to compete with 6-7 other running backs that's already on the roster, so. And a rookie running back, most likely.
Super cheap.
Maybe. Yeah, most likely, man. Any last thoughts, Severe, for the people?
Nah, man. Just appreciate everybody pulling up, man, to this super late or super early show, depending on where you at. I think this is probably like I don't know where Yaya is at, man. This might be one of the only shows that's like at a decent time for him. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what country he's in right now.
God,
yeah. I'm not sure what country he's in right now.
Hey, let us know, man. Is it real early? Is it real early or real late? Where you at?
I was like, man, it's in the middle of the afternoon for me.
Oh, this is a beautiful Sunday afternoon.
But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody pulling up, man. Be on the lookout. We got some more stuff cooking up for you guys, man. A lot more content coming, man. So appreciate.
Oh,
y'all.
most definitely, man. Y'all gonna love like the stuff that's gonna be coming up, man. Just be on the lookout. Also. We got a big collab coming up, man. We got Big Mike. He's doing his 30 prospects to 30 days, man. Make sure to check it out. But we're gonna be collabing with Big Mike this Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that, man. That's gonna be an epic show. And hey, don't worry, man. It's not gonna be this late or this early. It's gonna be just right at 8. Was it 8 p.m.? I think 8 p.m. Is that where we going? 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Be on the lookout for that. And we're also gonna have some people that we're gonna be interviewing and talking to. So check that out as well. It's gonna be some good stuff, man, coming up, man. So be on the lookout for that. But what you got, Severe?
No, nothing.
Oh man, he says it's yeah, bro. It's 2:21 p.m.
Yeah, I told you, bro. This is man, this is perfect time for him, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's 2:21 p.m. Hey, man, look, this one, shout out to Yaya, man. This show's for Yaya, man. Look, it's 2:21 p.m. He always comes through, so it's usually pretty late or super early for him when we go live usually during our time. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, make sure to clock out on the way out, man. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Till next time, all right, y'all. Peace.
The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Believe that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.